Zapraszam pani w przodu. Pani z przodu. Zobaczymy, jak to nie jest.
It's okay. They don't have their. I think that's it. You know, I was going to ask you that question. If you know, you're playing. It's all the time. Roll out there. Okay, roll. Okay, well, the princess is going to shoot you. That's like, Are you ready? Double. Actually, for you now, I'm gonna be normal. You know, that's so nice. I said game. I said it's a Yes. Well, this country has 3 months in different I'll take it. I don't know. I don't It's funny how we didn't do it today. You should actually one. It's all life. When you say yes,
Dzień dobry.
It's up to you. I think it will be better for you to use this one, yes, and I will turn on that.
It's not too good, right?
Okay, great, yeah. We're afterwards, but he needs us as yeah, it's clear.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome again to a very unusual, a special session for us on our university guidance tour, in addition to the fairs that we're doing, in addition to the meetings that are happening online today. We have wonderful guests from Ireland. We've got Joyce representing Cork Institute of Technology, and we've got Ray representing Griffith College Dublin. So that is a chance for you to learn a lot about the universities in Ireland and to, well, give it a serious thought about the quality of education you can get from an English-speaking country in the light of the fact that UK has become a little bit more, well, challenging to study in. We also welcome Adam here with our group. And there will be a time to ask questions. We'll be seeing 2 presentations today. So I hope you will all enjoy it. Thank you to our guests for joining us today as well. And yes, so let's make the most of it. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for the extremely warm welcome. Well, I've been to the tour in Poland with Joyce and Ray since last Sunday. I've been to Krakow, Lublin, Kielce, Warsaw, Gdańsk, now Elblągu, but this is the warmest welcome we've received. I think we can definitely agree on that.
Absolutely.
It's the British-Polish hospitality is what it is.
Yes.
Your director said one very important thing: questions. This is why we're here. We're not here to tell you you need to study this, you need to study that. We're here to share information with you so that you can make informed decisions later on when it comes to actually choosing your university studies and your programs. And there are no stupid questions. There are no stupid questions, there are no funny questions. Questions are what help you make those decisions. So I do encourage you to listen to what Joyce and Ray have to say and take advantage of the session. So that's enough for me. I guess Joyce will, Joyce will start.
Ladies first.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity So my name is Joyce O'Hara, and I work for Dundalk Institute of Technology, and I've been there for the last 9 years. Has anybody been to Ireland? Oh, excellent, yes. Where were you?
In Cork.
Oh, it's Cork.
Just for a couple of weeks.
Okay, very good. I did live in Cork for about 10 years, and it is a lovely city. And does anybody know anything about Ireland? Well, that's why I'm here. Okay, so just to give you first a little bit of background about Ireland, and then I'll talk about our institute and some of the programs that we have. So Ireland is in the EU since 1973. We are the fastest growing economy in Europe again. We are one of the only English-speaking countries left in the EU now since Brexit. Does anybody know the other English-speaking country? It's actually Malta, okay? We also have the youngest population in Europe. We have full employment in Ireland. Some of the key sectors would be pharmaceuticals, IT, financial services, medical device, and engineering. So this is a map of Ireland, okay? And Dublin is the capital. And we are based in Dundalk, which is just 1 hour north of Dublin. We're actually only 40 minutes from the capital airport. Has anybody here heard of Ryanair? That's the home of Ryanair. Oops, that's the home of Ryanair, is Dublin. It was founded in Ireland. So I know it's cheap and cheerful, but they fly everywhere, okay? We're flying back on Saturday from Gdansk to Dublin. Ireland is ranked top 10 in the world for our education system. We're a small country, we're only 5.3 million, but we really do pack a punch, okay? Our minimum wage is €13.50 an hour. In January, it is increasing to €14.15 an hour. So we have full employment, so we need more students to come to Ireland to study and to work part-time, and most of our students would have a part-time job if they so wish. And because most of you, I believe, are EU citizens, there's no restriction on the amount of hours that you can work, and you can come and go as you please. Average graduate salaries start off at $35,000. There are some programs and some industries that would be a lot higher. For example, if you went to study civil engineering, our graduates are earning $50,000 after 6 months of graduating. Our mechanical engineers, 100% of them are in employment 6 months after graduating. So there really is an awful lot of opportunities in Ireland. Our degrees are recognised internationally, and we also have our own, we have language as well. Not everybody speaks it at all. English is our language, just to let everybody know. So I've worked for Facebook and Google and eBay in the past. The reason why these companies come to Ireland is 1, we're in Europe, 2, we speak English, and 3, they have access to an educated workforce. So we're really lucky that all of the top tech, pharma, medical device, automation companies, that they set up their European headquarters in Ireland. So for such a small country, we really do have a global impact. This survey came out this year. Ireland is the most educated country in the world. So the number of people aged 25 to 64 with a bachelor's degree or higher is over 52%. Switzerland is next. So again, it's another reason why companies come to Ireland to set up, because they know that they are going to get a skilled labour force. And another thing actually, 28% of the workforce in Ireland was not born in Ireland. So people come to Ireland and they stay, okay, for the jobs and the warm welcome. So in our particular institute, Dundalk Institute of Technology, we've got 4 schools: the School of Business and Humanities, the School of Engineering, the School of Health and Science, and Informatics and Creative Arts. So we have up to 70 undergraduate programs. So there's usually a program for everyone. And maybe if we don't have the program, then Griffith and Ray will talk about his programs. And we also have follow-on master programs for every school as well. We have we're about 5,000 students in total, and about 10% are international, so outside again of the EU. Does anybody know what the biggest nationality in Ireland is, apart from the Irish? Exactly, it's actually Polish, yes. So there's 120,000 Polish living in Ireland. So a lot of them might have come from the Celtic Tiger and ended up staying. So there's about 23 higher education institutes in Ireland. So why would you come and study at DKIT? Well, I mentioned, we're small, about 5,000 students in total, which means our class sizes are small. So you're talking about 25 to 30. So you know the lecturer. The lecturer knows you by name, whether you like it or not, okay? But that's gold because they're so invested in your education and they really want you to succeed. We have work placement built into nearly all our programs. So in third year, you would go out into industry and get experience in the fields that you're studying. However, you don't need to find it yourself. So we are one of the only institutes that works one-on-one with students. And I know this because I managed that office for 6 years. So we work with students a year before they go out on work placement. First of all, we would work with them with their CV to make sure it's obviously professional. We work with students to realise what they're good at, what their strengths are, but also how to communicate that effectively. Because whether you like sales or not, you have to sell yourself, okay? So the difference between the Institute of Technologies and the traditional universities is we give you the technical and practical skills to be able to walk into a job. We have careers fairs every year. About 70 organisations come in. They could be, top, all the top companies basically come in. And we also have little mini fairs during the year for each school as well. Problem solving, critical thinking, teamwork, it's built into all our programs because that's what's needed in life and when you go out into the job market. So when I would have maybe some staff coming to me saying they have an issue, they have a problem, the first thing I'm going to ask them is, well, how would you solve it? Okay, so start getting students to start thinking for themselves. And again, it's another reason why companies come to Ireland. We've got lots of services on campus, like free doctor, free nurses, mental health counsellors for our students. We have a state-of-the-art sports campus, which I will show you again. It's not all about study. We've got 60 sports clubs and societies that you could join. If you're interested in something that we don't have, you can set up your own club, so we're very agile like that. And I suppose one of the most important features of DKIT is our location. Because we're not in a city centre, the cost of living is half the price. So there were 3 towns in Ireland this year that were surveyed with the lowest cost of living, and Dundalk is one of those 3. And you will hear a lot about accommodation as well. Again, we're very lucky where we're located that we don't have the issue of accommodation, and it is very affordable. So the Irish government requires us to survey our students every year when they graduate, 6 months after they graduate, to find out where they are. And that is how we know that 95% of our graduates are either working or they go on to do further study. So that is an amazing statistic because that is why we're all going to college and to learn and get on that first step on the career ladder. So I represent a public institution and Ray represents a private one. Undergraduate degrees in DKIT max 2,500 a year. However, there are grants available that will cover your costs and maybe even give you a maintenance cost towards your cost of living. It's based on your parents' income, and if it's below a certain threshold, then you get your full fees covered, okay? And what else was I going to say there? Our master programs are up to between 4,000 and 5,000 a year. So this is some of our halls of residence. We have accommodation both on campus and very close to campus. Everything is within walking distance. So just to give you, like Dublin, big capital, 1.2 million, in Dundalk, 40,000. However, you can hop on a bus anytime you want, or a train up to Dublin. As I said, it's only an hour away. I used to live in Dublin for 8 years. Now I live in Dundalk, and I just go to visit my friends and I come back again. This will give you just a flavour of the type of accommodation in terms of cost. So the minimum you would pay would be $400 a month, and the maximum you would pay is $750 a month, and that's a brand new building, individual rooms and ensuite showers. So again, if you were in some other big cities, you'd be paying 2 or 3 times the amount of that, and that's if you could even find the accommodation in the first place. More pictures of our accommodation. This is our gym, which I live in when I'm not traveling. We've got a swimming pool, 2 jacuzzis, a steam room. I've been going to gyms for years, and this is the nicest gym I've ever been in. This is a picture of our campus. So we're beside the sea, just like here, we're beside the mountains. I had a student from South Africa who arrived last year on the 1st of September, and 2 weeks later, she had a part-time job in that hotel right beside the campus. So she walked in and got it. And that is the accommodation where she lives, and these are our buildings. This would be our informatics and creative science, creative arts, this is our health and science, and we've business and engineering over there. So everything is in one place, it's very safe, and it's very friendly. Now, we don't have a bar on campus, but there's 50 bars in the town, okay? So again, it just means that it's very safe, and that's very important for parents as well. So, the biggest difference between the public and the private is the application process. So, because I work, for a state university, the way you apply is through the CAO. It stands for Central Applications Office. So whether you're Irish, Polish, EU citizen, this is how you apply if you want to study to any state college in Ireland, okay? It actually opened yesterday, and it will be open until the 1st of February, okay? Now, you can change your mind after that, but it's important if you're in the final year to get your application in by the 1st of February. So you're making your applications before you even sit your exams. But what I would say is just get it in and then worry about your exams. So, the CAO is based on a point system. So the better your grades, the higher points you get, okay? The other thing I would like to explain is we have 2 pathways to entry. Not every university does this, but in Ireland, they sit their exams in June. They sit 7 exams, and it's, it can be quite stressful, and they may not get the points that they want. But that's not a reason for them to be excluded from attending college. So we've got 2 pathways in DKIT. You can enter on a level 7, which is a 3-year ordinary bachelor's degree, or a level 8, which is a 4-year honours bachelor's degree. The reason why you need a level 8 in Ireland is if you want to go on to do a master's, it's a level 9 and it's just 1 year. So in Poland and a lot of European countries, you do a 3-year ordinary bachelor's degree and a 2 years master's, okay? We do have some honours degrees that are just 3 years also. So when you're filling out the CAO, you've got a list of 10 options for a level 7 and 10 options for a level 8. It's easier to get into a level 7 because the points are lower, okay? So say, for example, you want to do mechanical engineering. What you would, in DKIT, what you would do is put mechanical engineering on top for level 7 and for level 8, because we offer it in both. If you do level 7, as long as you pass your 3rd year, you can do 1 more year to get your level 8 anyways, okay? So it's just 2 pathways, which is great. Now, as I mentioned, this does all of Ireland, and you have 10 options. So it's very important that you put your favourite option, the course you really want, and the location you really want on the top, okay? So, for example, you might get in round 1 your 5th offer. You can't get anything underneath that, but you can get offers over that, okay? And the last thing I would say about the CAO, and people think it's a bit scary, but it's not. They sit their exams in Ireland in June. The results don't come out in the middle of August. And then a week later is when the offers come out, okay? So you will get an offer, especially if you're all doing A levels, which are we have a lot of students that do that as well, that come from the UK and from the north of Ireland. So if you put down a level 7 in the equivalent, you'll definitely get in with that, okay? But you may also get your level 8 as well, all right? The entry requirements, you would need a minimum of a grade C if you're doing your A levels, okay? And 4 or 5 GCSEs as well, GCSEs. But I have that information on that. But Ray, I'll pass you over to Ray now, who will talk about Griffith and the application. He's a lovely video about Ireland as well to start off with. All right, so thank you very much.
Thanks, Joyce. Dzień dobry. So, just while I'm waiting for this to load, first of all, big thanks to Anna, Joanna, Dorada. What an amazing welcome. It's my first time ever in Elblągu, but I can assure you after 1 hour being here, it will not be my last visit. And I've already been promised that some of you golfers are going to bring me to Sun Valley Golf Club at some stage, so I'm looking forward to that as well, as golf is my real passion outside of work. So it just takes a minute for it to load because there's a couple of videos that I would like you to see. Here we go. So my name is Ray Halpin, and I'm the Global Student Mobility Manager for Europe for Griffith College. Until about 28 hours ago, I used to say we're in Dublin city centre, but I don't anymore, because yesterday I visited Lublin, so I'm now from Dublin, okay? So this is my new pronunciation for Dublin. So just before we kind of get going in terms of talking about colleges or programs, this is like an introduction video to Ireland. So if you decided to study in Ireland, you know, this is kind of what you want to expect.
What makes you, you? Some say it's how you learn. And for you, that education starts right here in Ireland. Sure, you want somewhere that offers you a world-class education. And yes, you want to study in a place where you get personal attention, where the lecturers know you, know your name. And of course, at the end of all this, you want somewhere with a buoyant job market, somewhere with excellent career opportunities, the envy of countries all over the world. But you want more than that. You want somewhere you can learn things that are not just found in books, somewhere you can learn to live a little, to immerse yourself in a rich and vibrant culture, somewhere you can learn to lose yourself, and somewhere you can learn to find yourself, somewhere you can breathe, have fun, grow, live, and find friendships that last forever. Somewhere that will be the making of you. Ireland, the making of you.
So I'm going to skip over quite a lot of things about Ireland because Joyce has already covered them, but I already know without knowing that when I get back to Gdansk later on, there will be an Irish bar, okay? Because there's an Irish bar probably in every city in the world. We're known for our hospitality, we're known for our warm welcome. We actually say in Irish language, Cé Míle Fáilte, which means 100,000 welcomes, okay? But we've also made a major contribution to things like music, history, arts. I'm not sure within the curriculum here, but I know from speaking to some schools earlier this week, they're actually studying Seamus Heaney, who's one of our famous, most famous poets. And you'll see a picture of Seamus shortly. Because of the UK leaving Europe, we're now the largest speaking English country in Europe, with over 55,000 international students choosing Ireland every year. We asked a question on Monday when we were in Krakow. So somebody asked, you know, what do you think the #1 reason for coming to Ireland is? And a student said, is it because of the beautiful men like you, Ray? And I said, no, that's not the #1 reason. The #1 reason is actually the job opportunities, both while you're studying and also after you graduate as well. In terms of zloty, so our minimum wage on the 1st of January 2026 will rise to over 60 zloty per hour. Why is that important? Because maybe you need to get a part-time job for your social life, or maybe you have to go out and have a drink or go to the cinema or go for a meal with friends. Unemployment is very low by comparison to a lot of countries around the world. That's what's called total employment, once you're below 5% unemployment. And we've reached a couple of record high levels of employment in Ireland right now. So the first one will be for people between the age of 15 to 64. Employment has never been higher. And for female employment levels have never been higher. And these things are really, really important because I presume you're studying a bachelor's degree to get a job. And it's not a coincidence that these companies choose to have the European headquarters in Ireland. So that's the reason that people come to study in Ireland, is the actual career opportunities. And in terms of Griffith College ourselves, we were founded in 1974. So for anybody who's reasonably good at mathematics, that means last year we were 50. Okay? And there was a lot of celebrations to mark that occasion. So we've got 3 campuses, one in Dublin city centre, one in Cork, which is the second biggest city in Ireland, and one in Limerick. We've got over 7,000 students from over 120 different countries. Okay? So graduation is taking place right now over the last 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday and today. And we've got 8 different faculties across the 3 different campuses. And we're the largest private higher education institution in Ireland. So a lot of people have been awarded the Distinguished Fellowship of Griffith College over the years, and these are probably our 3 most famous. Mary McAleese, who's the 8th President of Ireland, and then 2 Nobel Prize winners. John Hume, who was awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1998. You might also know a famous Polish man who was awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace, who brought you out of communism, maybe Lech Wałęsa. So, very good. And then Seamus Heaney, who was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1995. And we are known as the land of saints and scholars. Okay, really, really important slide, and not important about Griffith College, really important about your future, okay? So some of you are going to be sitting here right now saying, I don't care if the men are as beautiful as you, Ray, I'm not coming to Ireland, okay? I want to go somewhere else to study, and that's completely fine. But some of the points that are on this screen are the questions that you should be asking yourself about your own future. So, location of university is irrelevant. Location of country, program you apply for, they're all irrelevant. But there's some really important points here. The first one is, whatever university you're going to apply to, ask them what the student-lecture ratio is. Because if you're in a class with 300 students, the lecturer is going to stand up and say, deliver a lecture to you, not with you, to you, and then they're going to say, right, your assignments are due, a week on Friday, thanks, bye-bye, have a nice weekend. How does that maximise your individual performance? How does that help you to succeed in life? So we operate with a student-lecture ratio where we can teach as a group, but we can also maximise individual performance. The length of your bachelor's degree. Most public universities and state universities, the programmes will be 4 years, okay? With Griffith College, we have only one 4-year bachelor's degree, which is computer science. Everything else is a 3-year bachelor's degree. So you're going to graduate faster, you're going to save a lot of money, cost of living expenses, etc. Joyce spoke quite extensively about the state application process, and that for EU students, that's the only show in town, okay? With Griffith College, it's completely different. So after we are finished here, if you want to take one of these, absolutely do. But when you scan here, you get the digital guide. And all of our programs inside are a hyperlink. So you can click in to read what the bachelor's degree is about. Especially useful if you don't know what you want to study. Because you might be deciding, do I want to study this program or this program? Read what they're about. Read the modules, module by module, year by year. And you can apply directly. I met students all week. Some have already applied. And I asked people to give me 3 days to turn your application into an offer. Because right now I'm standing in Elblągu in front of you, so I'm not looking at applications. But if you applied today, you would have an offer by next Tuesday. Okay? The next thing is asking about scholarships. So Polish students, EU students, get the exact same fees at Griffith College that Irish students get. Okay? The exact same benefits. You can come and go as you please, you can stay as long as you want, you can work as many hours as you wish. If you meet some ginger Irish boy with freckles and have ginger Irish Polish babies, you can stay for the rest of your life. Okay? So there's literally no restrictions. And we do offer a scholarship that you can get in year 1 of your bachelor's degree. And for A-level students, we also have what's called GGES, which is the Griffith Global Excellence Scholarship. So anybody applying to us with 3 A's at A-levels, would actually get a 25% scholarship off our fees in each year of their bachelor's degree. Okay? Now, the next point I'm going to make, it doesn't matter where you go to, it doesn't matter what you study. And we've been talking upstairs with Anna, and one of the conversations we've been having is around accommodation. There's an accommodation crisis, there's an accommodation shortage all over Europe. So when you go to the Netherlands or Italy or Spain or Ireland or the UK, it doesn't matter. Sort out your accommodation, okay? We will guarantee accommodation on campus for EU students every year, okay? And that's quite important because we're in Dublin city centre. If you wait until the last minute, then you won't get accommodation on campus. In September, we had about 1,500 international students coming into Griffith. Everybody got a bed. So nobody ended up living in the park, nobody ended up in a tent, nobody ended up climbing trees to find a place to sleep. But some students have a longer commute on a daily basis. So sort out your accommodation no matter where you're going to study. And then here's some programs we offer. Okay, so we've got a range of programs, and I'm not going to go through them all because I'm conscious I don't want any of you to fall asleep. But does anybody here want to study any kind of a business program? No, nobody's interested in this. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the programs that we have, we've got a range of business programs. One of the big things every year is that the big business companies come in to meet our students. They don't do this with every university. So I'm talking about Deloitte, KPMG, PwC, Ernst & Young, Grant Thornton, Fidelity, BDO, come in to talk to our students about different programs with them. Then we have film, TV and screen media production, which is a really practical program, talking about, you know, directing, cinematography, post-production editing, visual effects, screenwriting, so the full range of filmmaking or documentary making. We also have journalism and media communications, where we will teach students traditional content, so like printed content if you wanted to work in newspapers or media or magazines, but also now people are making real careers out of digital podcasting, professional TikTokers and YouTubers, so we're teaching digital content as well. And one of our graduates, actually, her father was the Prime Minister of Ireland, or what we call Taoiseach in the Irish language. She's more famous than he is, because after she graduated, she wrote a book, and it became one of the most famous books in the world. It's called P.S. I Love You, okay, Cecilia Ahern, and it was turned into a Hollywood movie in 2007. Then we have things like animation, creative technologies and digital art. We have music production and audio and music technology. Those programs are probably some of the best in the world. We actually deliver those programs not on our main campus, but in Windmill Lane Recording Studios, which is still a live recording studio. It's been named Best Recording Studio in the world twice. 2 years ago, a man you may have heard of called Bruce Springsteen walked into a classroom, picked 4 students at random, took them out of class and brought them into his recording session. And then he gave them free backstage passes to his concert that night. When I found out, I went absolutely ballistic, because I paid €160 to go to the exact same concert. But some of our graduates, like Declan Gaffney, his job is he's the main producer and engineer for U2 and Adele. Scott Halliday worked for Prince, and Ben Cleary won an Oscar in 2015. In the last 6 months, Lady Gaga has been in, Ellie Goulding, Gavin James, Lewis Capaldi, Ed Sheeran. It's still a live recording studio. Then we have law. In 2023, we were actually named Law School of the Year in Ireland. So best law school in Ireland ahead of all the other law schools. We also won an award for best student experience, which tells you people like studying law at Griffith College. You have the opportunity to go to the land of the Orange Man, Donald Trump, to do an internship in Philadelphia, where you would work for the Chief Justice of the state of Pennsylvania, Chief Justice Darby. And also, there's a worldwide movement called the Innocence Project, which looks at wrongful convictions, and they have one base in Ireland. They're based in Griffith College. Then we have a range of design programs: interior architecture, graphic communication design, and fashion design. Have you all heard of Ryanair? Okay, so Ryanair, you know their really beautiful blue and yellow uniforms? They were designed in 2016 by an Irish lady called Emma Callapy, and in 2015, 1 year earlier, she graduated from fashion design at Griffith College. So, pretty cool success story. Computer science is our only 4-year bachelor's degree, and the reason it's a 4-year bachelor's, in the 3rd year there's a 6-month paid internship where you go to work for a company. So you welcome to the real world. If you get out of bed, you know, actually go earn a living. But it's also a great long-term job interview, because a lot of the companies, like we're known as the Silicon Valley of Europe, really strong in tech, startup, IT, and a lot of people come to Ireland for computer science. And then in the final year of computer science, actually we've got a range of electives. So whether you want to do something like AI and robotics, or cybersecurity, or big data management, you know, or software development, or game design. Psychology, 3-year bachelor's in psychology. If anybody, are you guys all in your final year? AS, so the year before. Yeah, okay. When you get to your final year, if you're interested in psychology, I would strongly recommend that you contact this guy, okay? So he's a very good friend of mine, okay? I know him quite well, and he will help you. Psychology is our biggest demand program. So people have to apply early, have to commit early. In 2025, I contacted all my psychology applicants at the end of April and said, I'm sorry, we're full. Now, I would have been warning them in March and April that we were getting full, but some people, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So some students, unfortunately, missed out on places in psychology. It's really, really high demand. The other programs are for postgraduate, so pharmaceutical science and ICAS programs. Foundation studies, please, please, please don't be the first student from Poland to require a foundation program, because that means you messed in your A-levels and you didn't get your grades. You should all be going direct to university, okay? Our A-level entry requirements are 2 A-levels at grade C and 4 IGCSE subjects at grade C to meet minimum entry requirements. But if you want the Global Excellence Scholarship, you need to be an A student. And then I'm going to skip forward. So, just in case you didn't hear me, or just in case you ignored me, or just in case you had no interest in what I said, I'm going to say it again. Accommodation is going to be the biggest challenge, maybe not for you, but for your parents. And the students who apply first, in the real world, life is about first come, first served, okay? So the earlier you apply, the earlier you secure your accommodation, and that's not just for Ireland, it's for all the countries around Europe. So I can't stress enough how important that is. And then some of the more frequently questions that I get asked by Polish students specifically is, yes, about the accommodation, yes, it's about the application process. And because you're studying A-levels, there's no English language requirement. So you don't have to go and do an IELTS, you don't have to go and do a Cambridge test. However...
Sorry, right, because we've got about half the students who
yes.
are taking the Polish model, right?
Okay. So if you're A-levels, there's no English language test. However, if you want to go and apply to 10 universities, you need to check with each university what their entry requirements are. For Polish students studying the Matura, okay, and the Matura entry requirements are shown in here. It's alphabetical, the entry requirements, and the Polish Matura entry requirements are there as well. If you want to apply to 10 universities, yes, you're going to have to do an IELTS test or a Cambridge test. If you, in 1 year time, are like, I actually like what that old guy said about Griffith College and I like those programs, my advice, don't, okay? You have to pay for those tests, you have to study for those tests. and we have two options that are completely free of charge. So the first one is you can use your Polish Matura, okay, as long as you score at least 60% in the advanced level English exam with at least 55% in the oral component. Or you text this guy after you've applied and you say, hey old man, you told me something about some free English test. Every Tuesday we have a free online English language test for applicants. So once you've applied, it's done on Zoom, it takes 90 minutes, it's at 12 o'clock Polish time, 11 o'clock Irish time, and you get the result that afternoon. So it's really, really super straightforward. When you have the digital guide, you can either scan this, you can take this, you can also scan it on the next screen if you have your phones. After the tuition fees, which I've already covered in the English language, there, or on the back of my card, the QR code is on the back of my card as well. So you always have the up-to-date information in terms of what you need. So, first time this week that nobody fell asleep, so I'm obviously becoming less boring as I go along. So thank you very much, Dziękuję, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Q&A.
Yeah. Q&A. Just a couple of things about Q&A. So some people might have specific questions for Joyce. Absolutely go and speak to Joyce. One or two of you who maybe aren't bored enough might have another couple of questions for me. Or you can ask general questions as a group, whatever you're more comfortable with. My father always told me there's no such thing as stupid questions. There can be on occasion stupid answers, but there's no such thing as stupid questions. So please feel free to ask any questions.
So,
Or you can all be really shy and just sit there and say nothing. That's another option as well.
we've got some grade 2 students here as well, taking their IGCSEs.
Okay.
And you both mentioned that it's about 4 to 5 IGCSEs at C level.
So for us, it's not a requirement that Griffith College sets. There's basically it's like a European framework document, and the entry requirements in that are 4 IGCSE subjects at grade C and 2 A levels at grade C. So for those students, and then for the Polish Matura, like once you get into your final year, so if you're in A levels or you're in year 12 doing the Polish Matura, you can apply at any stage then. So like we have students that I've met all week that are in grade 12 that are applying for September 2026. If they're with the Polish Matura, you just need to attach a copy of your year 11 Polish results and your ID, and then we can figure out the English language. We do normally have one entry requirement where before you do IGCSEs, you should climb Kilimanjaro barefoot with 4 Sherpas on your back, but the school have asked me, will I waive that entry requirement for you because it's the first time I've met you. So we're not going to ask you to do that this year.
So here you can see for a level 7 you need a total of, this would be the minimum requirements of 5 distinct recognised subjects at GC, grade C or better, which must include at least 1 A level or equivalent. And then for an honours degree, so you would need 6 distinct recognised subjects, 2 subjects GCE, A level grade C, and 4 others at GCE level. So the C is the minimum, obviously, of both of them.
And are these subjects specific to a degree that you're applying for, or is it?
Absolutely brilliant.
It really depends. So for example, if you were doing maybe engineering or computer science, you would need maths, okay? But most programs would need a level of maths, but some of them may need a higher requirement. Or if you're studying maybe pharmaceutical science or bioscience, you need to be doing a lab subject like biology or chemistry.
And what we don't do, so we don't insist that you do specific subjects, but in certain degrees, like Joyce said, so if you wanted to study psychology or computer science or business program, then absolutely we're going to be looking at your English and maths score. But if you want to study something like journalism or law, then maths becomes less relevant.
Or drama, film and theatre, or social care, or Bachelor of Arts, or things like that. So
And again, it's about gathering the right information depending on the country you want to apply to, and then depending on the university you want to apply to. Because unfortunately, it's a bit like going through an airport security. There's not one rule. When you go to an airport, take out your laptop, leave your laptop in the bag, take out your liquids, leave your liquids in your bag, take off your watch, put on your jumper. Like, it's just, please just make one rule. And universities is literally like the same thing. So make sure you're getting the right advice from the school. You know, also we work quite closely with Adam, and he's fantastic at giving people the right information, you know, depending, because some of you in this room are probably going to apply to 3, 4, 5 different universities, then get your offers and actually decide what's best for you. And that's the right thing to do. But you'll probably have, some will ask you for motivational letters, you know, some will ask you for statements of purpose, some will ask you for writing an essay, some will ask you to, and then obviously we used to ask you to climb Kilimanjaro, but we're actually not going to do that with you guys because I like Regent School.
But I always say to students, if you have the opportunity to study in another country, grab it with both hands, because you will never regret it, and it opens up so many doors that you can't even imagine. I studied abroad. I left when I was 18, very shy, never particularly wanted to travel. I've travelled all over the world, from Congo, Chad, Niger, Nepal, Australia, you know, South America. And it opens up so many more opportunities because you have something extra that somebody who never left did.
Yeah, and actually on that point, if I'm interviewing for a job and I've got 2 students sitting in front of me, and you've studied in an English-speaking country or in a different country, but you've never left Poland, every day of the week they're getting the job. Because if you have that exposure to different cultures, different nationalities, different people, you're just, your horizons are broadened, you know, and your knowledge is broadened, and it's a really, really important thing when it comes to employability.
So when would you say would be the best time for the students to make their pick?
To make their pick?
Yes.
Oh, do you mean program or do you mean university?
Program university, start thinking about it really seriously.
Yeah, from my perspective, you might have an idea, like the fact that you're in an international school, there's a good chance that some of you are considering studying internationally. I would say when you're starting AS levels, okay, you should have a pretty reasonable idea of what you're interested in. But before you start A levels, when you're doing your IGCSEs, if you want to study a particular subject that requires a science or a particular subject, like medicine or something like that, you should have that in your head because it might affect your A-level choices in terms of the subjects that you're going to pick.
And then I suppose every, you know, university will have different application times and that, but anywhere in Ireland through the public system, it is between November and the 1st of February of the year you're graduating.
So really being at the AS level, so that's year 3 for all of us, would be the best time to have things sorted and then be
Exactly,
ready
start
to
asking the
start
questions.
applying.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and for us, once they're in year 4, so like our application process is like 1 year in advance, and so students would have started applying for September 2026 in October 2025, because up until that, I'm still dealing with September 2025, because especially for EU students, like we get a lot of students last minute, and we get quite a lot of A-level students last minute because you've gone and submitted your applications, and unfortunately something's gone wrong with your exams, or you haven't got the offer that you quite hoped you were going to get. And so during August and the beginning of September, we get students who've studied A-levels or IB coming to us saying, is there any places left in that course? And because you're EU, literally, you know, within a week you can be, get your offer signed up and jump on a plane, as long as you can get the accommodation. God, I'm so, why do I keep going on with the accommodation? It's so important. But honestly, it's like a rolling admission for private. There's just 2 completely different sets of rules.
And with the Polish matura, because we've got the results sometime in
Early July. Yes.
So then they would get the final offer. They're in place, but for the
From us.
Yes.
So from us, from the public universities, I'll let Joyce answer that one in a second. But from us, when a student gets their final results, whether it's A-levels or whether it's Polish matura, they just text the scary guy and say, I've got my results, what do I do? They send them to me, I send them to admissions, and it's normally validated within 24 hours of receipt of results. So it's like super fast, super quick turnaround.
So those with Polish matura, they would know earlier than those with...
Yeah, but to be honest with you, with A-level students, you'll have a pretty good idea. Do you know what I mean? Because
So
we'll
you
have seen their
pretty-
IGCSEs or we'll have seen their AS level results. And that's why we asked for the Polish maturity year 11 as well, to get an idea. If somebody is, how do I say this diplomatically? Oh, I can't. Okay, so I'm just going to say it honestly. But if somebody says they want to study accounting and finance, and we're seeing E and IGCSEs at maths, and we're seeing F in AS at maths, that's going to be a bit of a red flag in terms of, is this student really going to get a C, you know, when it comes to their final A levels. But looking at the results, we can kind of more or less tell, you know, it normally tends to be, will they be getting A's or B's, you know, rather than, is there a doubt they're going to get a C.
And what I've done for a lot of the EU students, once they get the results, and this happened from a lot of the maybe Czech and Slovak countries last year, so they sent me their results, and while I'm not qualified to, you know, assess them because it's done through the CAO system at a government level, I can say, yeah, it looks like you will get an offer, you know, I just can't give it. Whereas I can for international. So if somebody is outside of the EU, I process all those applications as well, and like Ray, I can turn around an offer, an unconditional offer, and then as soon as the results come out, a final offer.
And sorry, just on that as well, if a student doesn't meet entry requirements, so you go out the night before your final exam and you eat 12 magic mushrooms instead of 8, you don't turn up for your final A levels, your deposits are completely refundable. So if you've already paid a deposit towards your accommodation, if you've already paid a deposit towards your tuition fees, if you don't meet entry requirements, you will get your money back. Or, you know, if you elope with your boyfriend or girlfriend, your parents will get their money back.
But this is a very important piece of information as well, that it's not only what's on the website that you gain information from. You can contact the real
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Like, I honestly, like, I got back to we had an event in Warsaw yesterday evening. By the time we got to the hotel in Gdansk, it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I made the dreaded mistake of opening my laptop, and I had questions from students, you know, I met you in Krakow, I met you in Kielce, I met you in Leuven. My parents have a couple of questions, and I answered them, so it was about 2:30 before I actually ended up getting to sleep last night.
Yes, so do use that opportunity. It's not only what you read, there are real people behind it ready to help and guide you and answer your questions.
Yeah. And like, that is so important. Like, I cannot stress enough, it's not my job to tell you what to study. It's not my job to tell you where to apply to. It's not my job to tell you how to live your life. I'm an old man, I've done all that, okay? My job is to give you the right information so you make an informed decision. Too many students, and this drives me absolutely crazy, too many students make bad decisions because they got the wrong information, or somebody sold them a dud, or somebody sold them something, and then they get there and they say, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Which is why every program that we offer is a hyperlink, so you can click on the program and read what the program is going to be about, module by module, year by year. Your whole bachelor's degree is laid out for you, so you don't get those surprises when you come.
We also do Erasmus as well, so if you wanted to do a semester abroad in another part of the university in Europe, we have that option as well. And most of our EU students are the ones that actually do that because they're already used to travelling.
Yeah.
And again, it's just another amazing experience.
That's something that the UK does not offer.
Yeah.
Well, it can't.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing to be careful of with Erasmus, and we offer it as well, but one thing you need to be careful of, there's a thing in Europe, within the European framework of education called ECTS, which is the European Credit Transfer System. So whenever you're speaking to a faculty about an Erasmus opportunity to study abroad, and they're telling you the partner universities of where you can go to do that, make sure you're getting the credit transfer value. Because otherwise, you go and you spend a lovely semester somewhere, and then you find out you just added another semester to your studies because you didn't get the credit transfer value. And that is really important as well. So again, it's about getting the right information to make the right decision.
Yes, asking questions very important.
Absolutely.
For university survival.
And they've asked so many questions already, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absorbing.
Yes.
Any questions?
And look, if somebody's too shy to ask a question in front of the group, you know, come up and speak to me on my own, or come up and speak to Joyce on her own. You know, I get that. I'm quite shy as well, and obviously you can see I'm pretty nervous here. So, you know, if anybody has any questions, I'll do my best to answer them as, you know, without getting too nervous.
But we've also been talking about the opportunity of us visiting Ireland and experiencing
Yes.
the universities and the hospitality, maybe not the pop.
Well, no, we can send the students back to the hotel and then we go.
Okay.
Or wait until you're 18 and then join us as well.
Yes, well, that would be a wonderful opportunity for you to see and experience it firsthand. So we'll definitely be in touch.
Totally. And like, you know, Joyce mentioned it earlier on, like, aside from Irish people, the biggest nationality in Ireland is Polish. Like, you know, if I walk into my local supermarket, whether it's Aldi, whether it's Lidl, whether it's Dunn's, whether it's Tesco's, we don't have a Spanish food section, we don't have a Chinese food section, we don't have an Indian food section or an Italian food section. But every supermarket has a Polish food section. So yeah, I think, was Dorada, somebody brought pierogi to your son or daughter? Yeah. You don't need to do that in Ireland because it'll all be in the supermarkets waiting for you, so it'll be fresh.
Did you like the video about Ireland and remind you of Scotland?
Oh,
yes,
yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Some of you have been to Scotland. Ireland, it is a beautiful city, wonderful people, very relaxed, very, the hospitality is also wonderful. So the Scottish and the Irish are like the English.
And they're much nicer than me. So the Irish people are much less scary than me and they're much funnier as well, okay? So you have a really, really good time.
Yes. So, if you have any questions individually, use that opportunity. Thank you very much to our
Thank you
guests
so
for
much.
giving us the introduction.
And thank you for the wonderful hospitality.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have us here with us.
I'm actually going to go looking for a holiday home in Elblągu, I think, when I finish this.
Yeah, I love this town too. It's already so, I don't know, get a lovely relaxed feel, very similar to Ireland and to Dundalk.
Oh, well, yeah, we share the vibes, so thank you very much for that. And we will be looking forward to visiting you in Ireland.
Absolutely. Consider yourself invited.
Thank you very much, thank you. So, a round of applause once again as a thank you. And we'll be working on these A levels and Matura results. So, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, I'll just give them to.
More brochures to
Yes.
lovely girls.
I want from both.
Yeah, I've given you the full one, but I have just small ones here that just have all our courses listed
If you
on
want
there.
more, I
Yeah.
see. They have enough questions, but.
Yes, so those are, yes. On our website, we all have.
Yeah, I only have a few cards left, so maybe you can take a picture or share or something if you. Thank you very much. I hope you found it useful. Yes. You found it helpful?
Yes, because we have the samples starting the first year.
Yeah.
It's in the South Pole.
Okay, which city?
It's in Katowice.
Okay, yeah, we weren't there this week. I think we've been everywhere else but Katowice this week.
And maybe you continue some stuff.
Okay. Well, look, if you, what's he studying?
Exactly, yes. Just save some money so it saves money for you too.
Indeed.
Yes, absolutely. I I call one out of cards, because I've given so many episodes, if you have any more left, what I'll do is I'll send you a follow-up email, and, yeah, they're all gone. Can you believe it? But it's funny, we've asked that question before, sometimes it's nice to go when there's, sometimes it's nice with students on campus, because you can see the vibrancy, but then, you know, March is perfect, right? Yes, because
They're taking them.
yes, all of them.
Here, I'll tell you what. Scan this, and you get the
Thank you
digital.
very much. I don't have mine because I'm in the pandemic.
On the back of the card, okay, is digital version. But if you take this and you make them move across, so yesterday you were in England.
Zawsze nas przystrzeliły widocznego do kolonii i tak czas ma, ale nie chcemy na górę, ale to jest
Nobody else said anything, but when I was also telling, follow yours, and it's safe, so you're guaranteed, so, yeah, he was telling us that, you know, 17, a bit young to be going, so she got an offer in August, and she can defer it. And then, you know, take a gap year out and work, or just relax and, you know, experience it, or go work, whatever they want. So it's an excellent option, so you can do that. So you're spot and safe and guaranteed. So, yeah, no, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. And she was trying to have students like, you know, you do it, you know, it's not a job. And work and exactly, you know, and, you know, I worked and remember, you know, something that gets back for me, education. I used to work for an NGO, I've been to Desert Chat, where schools, chairs, and this entire building. Like, what there's so eager to learn, and for some people, like, education is the way out. That's obviously extreme.